Hello and welcome to another tutorial with Beads Jar. I'm Natalia and today I am going to be taking you through this project where we'll be making this faux suede necklace using cord, rustic chain and crystals, and this looks very boutique style, very high end. So let's have a look and see what ingredients you're going to need to make this piece of jewellery. The major component of this necklace today is this faux suede cord. It measures 1.5 by 3 millimeters, and we're going to be using two different colors here, although we have a really wide selection of colors, so do check them out on our website. And I'm using this marine blue, and then this one is also called medium orchid. Now I used 4 reels of this one, the medium blue, and I used 3 reels of the orchid color. And then we have some chain that is going to be part of our necklace. We've got some red copper plated twist chain and some antique copper plated chain that's slightly bigger lengths than that one, so nice contrast between those two. We're using some Chinese bicone crystals, so we've got them in gold and metallic purple, and also in this metallic blue color. And we're using some pear-shaped drop crystals. These are faceted and they're called rainbow iris, really glittery. To secure the end of our necklace, I'm using one of these Kumihimo magnetic clasps. And we'll also need some Fevikwik instant 1-drop adhesive to stick the cord into this clasp. I'm going to be using some rose gold plated head pins. These are soft in 2-inch. And then finally our tools. So we've got some wire cutter pliers, we have chain nose pliers, flat nose pliers, and our round nose pliers. So let's get started making the necklace. We're going to begin with almost like the collar of the necklace, and when you unravel the cord from its reel, you'll see that it's been tucked in, so you've got this little end bit that's a bit wonky. Now that's okay for creating the collar bit, because we're going to chop the ends of it off anyway, but when you're starting to cut the pieces that go onto create almost like the tassel frill part of the necklace, you're going to make sure that you don't have this bit, because you want them to be perfectly flat. So you need to take off 3 lengths of the blue in the length that you need and just slightly longer. So I like this necklace to just sit on the collarbone. You can have it slightly longer, whatever is your preference. And so add on about 6 centimeters onto the length, so you've got plenty of working length, because we're going to plait this. So I'm just going to cut off 3 exact lengths, and so just match them together. So once you've got the 3 lengths together, it's going to tie a very light knot in the end. So you don't want it really tight so that you can't undo it, because we do need to undo the knot to attach the clasp endings. So just have a kind of loose knot on there, so it's just firm enough to hold itself together. And then what you want to do is to plait these pieces. Now this is flat cord, which is good because it gives us a really nice effect. And so we're just going to plait all the way down. And as I'm plaiting, I want it to be a fairly loose plait. So we want to see a little bit of daylight. So I want to see a bit of the surface underneath me here, because we're going to be threading other pieces of cord through this. And you don't want it too tight so that you can't actually achieve that. But you want it tight enough so it creates this really nice plaited effect. And as you're plaiting, just make sure that you're getting the cord flat on top of each of the different pieces as you weave. So you don't want to be just weaving like that and then it's all kind of twisted, because you want this really nice effect, because this is going to be a piece that you are going to see as you're wearing it, and it does look really good. So I'm going to plait all the way down, and then I'm going to show you how to begin attaching pieces of cord. So we have our plaited collar part of the necklace, And what I'm going to do now is show you how to attach the fringing part of it. So What I did with my necklace when I first made it was I decided on how I wanted the concentration of colour to be in the kind of pattern that I wanted. You can just do random effects if you want to, or you can do it uniformly and symmetrically, which is what I preferred. I preferred the look of that. So I placed pieces of the marine blue, so one piece, and then the orchid coloured ones on either side first of all. So what you need to do is decide how long you want the longest part of the middle fringe to be. And so this is about 10 centimetres long. And cut yourself off a piece like that. So 10 centimetres long, doubled over. And when you've got the necklace on, if you decide that you want it a little bit shorter, you can just trim it. And it's a lot easier to do that if you just look in the mirror or put it on someone else and then trim it. But it's better to have it slightly longer than you want rather than cutting everything and then you think, oh, I wish I'd got my fringe longer, it would have looked better. It's going to double your piece of cord over, and so you've got a loop at the top, and make sure that you go exactly to the center of your necklace. So that is there. And then we're going to just open up a little eyelet loop in the bottom of the plaiting, and you're going to push through so that the loop goes to the back, and then just pull it down slightly and tuck the ends, open the loop up, tuck those two ends through, pull them through there like that, and then just tighten it up. And so what you get is this really nice little effect on it. So you've got your cord is tightly placed inside the plaited part of the necklace, but it creates almost like this band across, which looks really nice. Now what we also want to do is to then use that as the measuring point. So we're going to, I'm going to show you how to add the next part in. So I'm just going to cut that off. So you see what I said about when it's tucked in, sometimes it has like a bit of glue on it, sometimes it's got a little bit of a wonky end on it. So you're just going to cut that straight because we want those to be perfect. And then you're going to cut it slightly longer than the first piece that as you began in the middle of the necklace. So I'm just going to measure, that's how I did this. So take it to the end, see what the end is. And I want it to be about 2 or 3 centimeters shorter than the very first piece of tassel that I put in. And I need to double it over, so I'm just going to do that. And then I'm going to cut that piece of orchid coloured cord. So now you're going to get this kind of graduated shape that's going to go all the way along. You know, you're going to need 2 of those because we want this symmetrical design. So we started off with the marine blue, and then we're going to add a piece of orchid onto either side. So all you need to do is just to take your reel, take the piece that you cut, just measure them alongside one another to make sure that they're absolutely the same length, perfectly matched up there. And then you're going to do the same thing. So you're just going to double the piece of cord over exactly like that. Just make sure that those are lying flat against one another. And then take your loop and you're opening up the one that is just alongside, okay? So you're not going along to the next one so you've got a gap, you're going right alongside the first one that you placed in there. Just pushing that through. Because you didn't plait it too tightly, it's very easy to push that cord through it. And then just pull those pieces together. Just gently pull from the back. The thing about cord is it sticks very nicely. So you can have a little bit of a job trying to get those aligned, but then you can see what's happened there, and we're going to place the other piece of orchid coloured cord alongside. So we're going to go through that hole there because it's the one that is directly next door to the first piece that we placed in. And you're just going to do that all the way along. So you're going to make sure that each time you cut, so when I've put my second piece of orchid cord in there. I'm going to do a piece of the marine blue on either side, and I'm just going to carry on like that. You do it however you want to, that's how I've done it. Now, one of the other things that that you need to make sure is that every time you're cutting two pieces of your cord of the different colours, that each time as you go along, you're gradually shortening the length of it, so you get this lovely nice kind of V shape when you're wearing the necklace. And the next thing that I want to show you is what we'll do on the other side. So you'll see that it looks different on the back, because we've got, you can see where we've almost got this hole where those two have gone in. And I'm going to take a piece of the marine blue cord, and this is going to be the same length as the very first one that I placed. So I'm going to fold it over, and this time, you're going to open up the plaiting directly above where you place your first piece of cord. So you'll see that that is the first cord in the 3 cords of plaiting. And then this time it's coming in towards you. Okay, and you'll see why. So you're taking the loop towards you this time and pushing those 2 ends of the cord through, and then you're going to pull it together. So this is on the back. So this is when you can do this at the same time as you do your first piece, or you can do it at the end, just go around the back of it. And then what happens is when you turn it over, you get like a nice little effect at the top. So it really covers up the plaiting really nicely, and then you have these different kind of variations of texture. So it looks quite complicated, but it's actually really simple. So continue doing that on the back and the front, and then you're going to end up with your necklace. So you'll see we've got all of our pieces in here, and then what I'm going to do is add some chains in like I have done here. So I'm just going to show you how I did that. And I'm going to take my pieces of chain. So first of all, we've got 2 different types of chain. We've got this one that says like a twisted, more kind of rustic, random looking links. And then I have one that has smoother, thicker chain, heavier chain. And it's really nice to combine these 2 because it gives lots of texture to the necklace. So take a piece of chain and make sure that you do it just slightly longer than the area where you're going to place it on your necklace. So if I bring my necklace back in, we're going to place a piece of chain here at this point. So I want to make sure that I have it so that the chain does not end longer than the end of the cord where I'm placing it. So I'm going to cut off a piece of chain. Just going to measure that, so I want it to go to about there. And the best way to do this, to save the chain and make the very best use of it, most economical use of it, is to separate the links, because they are actually open links, even though they're very well connected, very closely aligned. So just take 2 pairs of pliers and open like a door, and then you can save that link so that you don't waste any of your chain. So just push those back together, and then you've got your piece of chain there. And we're going to attach some beads to it just to add a bit of sparkle. So you're going to need one of these rose gold plated head pins. These are 2 inches long. And I've got some of these little bicones here, and I'm using different colours. So some of them are the blue, so they suit really well the marine blue, but this one's more like a cobalt blue. We've got purple ones, and then we've got the gold ones, so that those colours are very harmonious. So I'm just going to take one of my blue bicone crystals and thread it onto the head pin, and then taking my round nose pliers, I'm going to make a little loop in it. So I'm just going to place my pliers at the top of above the top of the bicone, and then bend the wire to the right, And then I'm just going to take my wire back over my pliers to make this sort of semi-loop. And then I'm going to place it wherever you want to on the chain. I like with the first one just to place it on the end of the chain because it just gives it a little bit of weight. And then just take your round nose pliers and just hold on to the loop of the chain. Just hold that tightly, make sure that the link of your chain is out of the way. And then take the wire and wrap it around the base of the loop. So just keep wrapping 2 or 3 times. Push that tightly down, and then any excess wire from your head pin, you just need to trim it off with your wire cutters. And then just make sure, run your finger along that and make sure that it's not, the wire's not sticking out. If it is, then use your chain nose pliers just to flatten it down, flatten it against the wire. And what I like to do is just to add 2 or 3 of these along the chain, just to give it a little bit of extra texture and colour, just following the same process of creating that little loop. Placing it randomly along one of those links in a chain. And just take your pliers, holding onto the loop, and then wrapping the excess wire around the base of the loop and snipping it away like that. Okay, so I would probably add another couple of these beautiful glittery little stones onto here, and then we'll attach that to the necklace. Now I want to show you the other style of our chain here. So this one is the larger links, the thicker chain. This one looks perfect run down the middle of the necklace. So again, these links, they are removable because they are actually open links. So if I just turn it that way, you can see that the link is actually separate, and we can, using 2 pairs of pliers. This one's a tougher one, so you have to use a little bit of muscle just to open these up. But it is a really good idea to save those links because it's very handy to have that and not waste any of your chain. Now that link is the one that I'm going to use to attach it to the actual cord on the necklace. So I'm going to save that link. I'm just going to put it on one side, take it off and leave it there. And to this particular chain, because it's much heavier weight, my little crystals won't really do it justice. So I'm using these larger ones, these teardrop shapes. And the process is exactly the same. So you're just going to thread on your head pin and create your loop and attach it to one of them to the very base of your chain, and then finish off with a wire wrapped around the base of the loop like that. I'm just doing this quickly to show you. Obviously you do it more carefully and neatly than me. Now when you do this, I recommend adding 3, maybe 4 of these teardrops. They look really good. Just for speed, I'm going to bring my necklace back and show you how to attach this. So if I show you the back of the necklace, so we're going to take our chain, and here's the link that I removed earlier that was open. So I'm just going to attach it to the top loop on my chain. And then I'm going to take my necklace and just attach it to the middle part of my necklace. You see how I've got just a little bit of cord there. I think I'm going to pop it in there. And the great thing about this chain is it's so robust and strong, it's not going to fall off. And then all you need to do is to just close up your link. And then you'll see that I've attached the other pieces of chain. Now, the twisted, rustic looking smaller chain that we used with the small bicones, those links aren't really big enough to fit through the cord. The cord is quite thick. So here I have attached a rose gold plated jump ring, so this is 6mm, to the top of the chain, and then I've just attached it wherever I wanted along the collar of the necklace. Okay, so the final step in the process is the cord endings. So we've still got those knotted up, so I'm just going to open them up. And then what you want to do is to get a pair of scissors or your wire cutters and to just chop the ends so they're absolutely the same length, perfectly uniform. And then I've got some Fevikwik glue. So this comes with the lid separate from it because it has a seal on the top of it. So once you put the lid on, this acts like a way of puncturing the seal. So only do this when you receive it and you open the packaging. Only do this when you're ready to use it, okay? So if you're going to store it for a while, then I would recommend that you just leave it be with the two pieces separate. So the way to puncture it is just to start pushing down and threading it onto the cap. And then let's bring our cord ends in. So I'm going to use one end of my magnetic clasp. This is a Kumihimo cord, but it fits really nicely with those 3 cords in there. So we're going to take our Fevikwik, and this is a very instant setting glue. So I'm just going to pop a couple of drops in there. Squeeze together those pieces of cord, pop them into the magnetic clasp, and then just hold it in there for a few seconds. It's a very, very fast acting glue, this. Make sure that you don't get any of it on your fingers because it could stick your fingers together, so be careful, all right? And so once that's done, we can do the same on the other side. So I'll just show you again very quickly. Attaching those cord endings. I would recommend, even though the Fevikwik is very fast acting, very fast setting, just to not wear your necklace for a few hours, okay, to allow it to fully set. So a couple of drops in there. When it goes in, it coats the inside of the clasp, so it's very good for Kumihimo braiding. Anything where you've got leather or anything that's slightly thicker like this cord, it's brilliant for that. And then you can just pop your cords together. And that is your finished necklace. So one of the things that I would advise you to do is to put it on, have a look in the mirror, see how you like the symmetry of the necklace. You can just trim it using a pair of scissors or your wire cutters, and to get the kind of shaping that you want. But what I really love about this is the way that the cord curls, because it's been on the round reel. And so it creates this very nice rounded effect. It doesn't matter which way you put the cord on, they all kind of fall in line together, so it does look very nice. And I've used, as I said, 4 reels of the blue and 3 reels of the orchid colour. And if you want a thicker looking necklace that's much more dynamic and textured, then you can just add more. So I hope you've enjoyed that project, and I hope it's inspired you to make your own necklace. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial, and I hope it's inspired you to make your own faux suede cord piece of jewellery. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of the future tutorials we're bringing you. And also just check the drop down menu to see links to our website and all of the materials that we've used, plus thousands of other jewellery making goodies on our website. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.